Hey everyone, I'm Leska. Today we're going to talk about how we got to lean on God and His direction and not ours. Psalms 37:23 in the ESV. The steps of the man are established by the Lord when he delights in His way. Divine direction. God actively guides and establishes the life path of those who trust and delight in Him. God's pleasure. God takes personal delight in the conduct and journey of the faithful. Delight the Lord means to find your joy, sanctification, and purpose in Him. Cultivating a lifestyle that honors God, where pursuing His ways becomes a pleasure rather than a burden. When your desires align with God and His will, you can trust that He is ordering your path. God doesn't just watch from a distance, He provides stability and purpose to your daily actions, decisions, and circumstance. God does not mean you will never make mistakes or experience hardship. It promises that God will never let you completely fall or be destroyed. He is always there to catch and restore you when you stumble. Psalms 37:23 in the ESV. Though he fall, he shall not be heading headlong, for the Lord upholds his hand. Faithful believers will still face setbacks, mistakes, or suffering. God ensures that they will never face total, permanent ruin. You may slip up or experience hardship, but God guarantees you will not be violently thrown away or cast headlong. It is comforting reminder that falling does not mean you have been forsaken. God is always there to lift you back up. And I just thank the Lord for that. He's going to be with us, and He'll show us things to keep going, even when we don't want to go anymore, even when we're still waiting on, like, Lord, what do we do next? Psalms 3:3 in the ESV. But you, O Lord, are my shield, about me my glory, and the lifter of my head. It represents ultimate safety and defense from physical, spiritual, and emotional harm. David's honor and worth come entirely from God, not his worldly circumstances or royal status. Restoration of hope, dignity, and confidence, lifting David from a place of weariness and sorrow. Lord, as a shield around him, his glory the lifter up of his head. Just as a shield protects a warrior from swords, arrows, darts, spears, so David's envision of the Lord protecting him from his enemies. And he's doing the same thing for us as well. We can't see what's going on around. We can't see the fight, but he is helping us fight. He is protecting us from so much. Psalms 27:3 in the NLT. Though a mighty army surrounds me, my heart will not be afraid. Even if I am attacked, I will remain confident. Are you confident in this season? Are you confident in the waiting? Sometimes I'm not confident. Sometimes I'm just like, Lord, I want to start doing what you've called me to do. I want to start doing it. We are so fast pace that we want it right away. How many times have you ordered something like food or something from um, anything online, and you just start tracking where are they at? Where's it going? Are they going to get here in time? We do that. Bold declaration of faith and trust in God's protection. True courage does not come from the unshakable confidence that God is a steadfast refuge. Fear is an instruct, but confidence in a choice. Contrast anxiety with trust, showing that believers can anchor themselves in God's character when the world feels chaotic. Got to be confident through the storm because you can conquer anything. Confident, the feeling of being certain or sure of yourself. Your brain learns through evidence instead of waiting to feel confident before trying something new. Take action like speaking up or introducing yourself. Build will build your skills, build your confidence, increase on being shy if you're really shy. You won't feel confident overnight. Being open to feeling awkward or making mistakes allows you to learn faster and worry less about being perfect. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Speak clear with silently more volume than usual, and maintain steadfast eye contact. I'm still working on that one, but that's just a learning thing each and every day. Looking confident actively surcharges your brain into feeling more secure. Avoid comparing yourself to others. Champion your own unique celebration, small, achievable goals as you each goal. Be as kind to yourself as you would to a close friend. Are you kind to yourself as you are to strangers? Are you kind to yourself and oh, you don't need to do this. You don't need to say that. You don't need to go there. Are you are you are you doing that in your own life? And I would say sometimes I'm not. I'm telling the truth here. I am not some days. Challenge negative thoughts by focusing on your progress rather than dwelling on the mishaps. Psalms 27:4 in the NLT. The one thing I ask the Lord, the thing I seek the most, is to live in a house of the Lord all the days of my life, delighting in the Lord's perfection and meditating in His temple. We gotta dwell in God's presence, marvel at His goodness, and continually seek His will. Prioritizing a life of God's presence, contemplating a beauty of goodness of God, seeking God's will and meditating on His ways and not ours. Imitate fellowship with God your top priority. Is God your top priority, or is your phone? Is God your top priority, or is your family, your job? Continuous lifestyle of abiding in God's presence rather than just visiting it occasionally. Take the time to initially admire and savor who God is and focus on His grace, kindness, and majesty. Seeking God's guidance, wisdom, and truth. Active posture or of learning, reflecting on Scripture and asking God which direction, rather than leaning on your own direction. When you are faced with life's anxieties or competing distractions, this verse challenges you to narrow your focus to the one thing that truly matters, knowing God and enjoying His presence. Proverbs 27:19 in the NLT. As a face is reflected in water, so the heart reflects the real person. Just as looking into a still water gives you a reflection of your own face, your outward life, your words, actions, and reactions is the exact reflection of what is inside your heart. What is inside your heart? Ask that question each and every day. You cannot permanently hide your true character. The things you cherish internally will always bubble up and reveal who you really are. Are you a child of God? Psalms 33:20. We put our hope in the Lord, and He is our help and our shield. Declaring trust and reliance on God, patience in the waiting, and divine protection. Waiting in hope represents patient confidence, expectation, and active trust in God rather than passive inactive. Trust me, I don't like that word patience as much as y'all don't. When we're in the waiting season, we have to be patient, and that is so hard. Help acknowledges that God provides assistance and strength in times of need. Shield. Divine protection from spiritual or physical harm. Help. God steps in to offer support, grace, and deliverance when we are incapable of saving ourselves or solving a crisis. Shield. Just as a physical shield defends an ancient warrior from harm, God defends and guards those who put their faith in Him. Are we putting our faith in the Lord? Waiting here does not mean sitting passively or doing nothing. Instead, it refers to an active, hopeful expectancy, leaning on God's promises even when answers to prayer or relief from difficult circumstances are delayed. Psalms 33:21 in the NLT. In Him our hearts rejoice, for we trust in His holy name. Are we trusting God through the progress? Deep faith and joy in God, lasting happiness and gladness come from placing one's trust in His holy name. Unwavering faith and the resulting deep joy that comes from relying on God's character rather than a worldly strength. The heart is the care of human emotions and will. The joy mentioned here is deep spiritual gladness rooted in God's constant presence, not just fleeting happiness based on external events. You got to root ourselves in trust. Joy is not blind, it is a result of trusting God. Peace with the active decision to put confidence in God. By trusting in God's holy name, the believer relies on God's provision, faithfulness, righteousness, and sovereignty. Help and shield, reminding believers that true security comes from the Lord. Psalm 33:22 in the NLT. Let your unfailing love surround us, Lord, for our help is in you alone. God's grace and mercy are directly tied to an individual's trust in Him. God's will you continually show His steadfast love grounded in the believer's decision to actively trust and wait on Him. Are we waiting on God, or are we trying to do it ourselves? God chose a rich Hebrew word denoting steadfast, covenant, and loyal love, God's constant, dependable presence and mercy. Biblical hope is not wishful thinking, but after a confident and patient trust. Psalms 33:15 in NLT. He made their hearts so He understands everything they do. God shapes the hearts of all people and fully understands every action they take. The heart, in biblical terms, represents the cadre of a human: emotions, thoughts, desires, and will. God observes and understands everything we do, our actions, decisions, and even the motivation behind them. Nothing is hidden, including our struggles, joys, and moral choices. So, if God knows everything, why are we not talking to Him through the day? Why are we just talking to Him when we need help? Since God shapes the hearts, He can direct our desires and decisions according to His purpose. This encourages to trust in His wisdom and plans for our lives. Knowing that God considers all works reminds us that our lives, knowing that God considers all worries reminds us that our actions, our lives, matter, and that He understands our intentions, offering both accountability and reassurance. God understands our hearts, provides comfort in times of struggle, confused, or emotional turmoil, invites believers to examine their thoughts and actions, and recognizing that God is aware of both. Encourages integrity, accountability, and alignment of one's heart with God's will. Seek His guidance in shaping their desires and decisions, allowing their lives to reflect His love and purpose. Psalms 33:11 in the NLT. But the Lord's plans stand firm forever. His intentions can never be shaken. God's perfect, eternal guidance and purpose, which are unchanging and superior to any human plan. God's plans are steadfast, wise, and will ultimately prevail. God works in His eternal counsel, reminding that His plans are as reliable as His creation. God's words are bringing creation into being. His purpose are as certain and eternal as His power. God's plans are not rooted and bound by time. They are rooted in eternity and will endure. Aligning our plans with God's counsel, seek His wisdom before making decisions, trusting His perspective over our own. Living in faith, anchor daily decisions in His eternal purpose and not fleeting human trends. Faith grows when you trust God. Faith grows when you take the next step. Faith grows when you keep showing up. Faith grows when you surrender what you cannot control. Faith grows one day at a time. I might not always listen to you, God, but speak to me your words of wisdom and life, and I will obey, and I will trust you. What does God say will happen if I completely trust Him? I hope y'all trust in God. I hope y'all lean back on Him. God loves you. I love you. Keep going. Keep seeking the Lord. Have an amazing day.